Welcome back to our road to Singularity here on BO7. In our last video, our top comment was from Golden, saying that they want us to do the XR3 Ion, but when we get all the camos done, we gotta get a medicure and a pedicure. That's not gonna happen, buddy. You ain't seeing these toes. There's no free feet. You know the rules. I see right through your scheme. I'll do the gun. But I will say, I do appreciate the challenge being for me to not eat an entire onion this time around. You know, we're getting somewhere. We're making some progress. But for our Ion here, I have a lot of the headshots done. I think we just need like 10 more. And then going into our special challenges, we're going to need long shots, kills without attachments, and some other challenge for the specials that we got to get done. But it shouldn't be too difficult. And if we get this done fast enough, we could even do our other sniper and actually be able to get these arclight today. But while we're doing that, we have a lot to yap about on our list of subjects today for what is basically the Guns in Ball podcast, which the multiplayer videos have turned into. We have first like the whole Faze clan melting and basically disbanding. Then I've also watched a little bit more Dragon Ball. I've made it through a good chunk of the Tournament of Power, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And then for everyone's favorite subject, the Gamer Guy Does Sports Talk portion of the video, there's been some things going down in Liontown that we can discuss a little bit later on. But the big news that came out earlier this week was basically every single member of Faze leaving the clan. Ooh, leaving the group. The clan sounds kind of crazy to say just outside of the COD context, but we've seen basically every single member leave, including Jev, which is absolutely nuts. He usually stays out of all this drama, is always doing his own thing. And I think from what he said is he's just basically been a part of Faze by name. He's never signed a contract or anything. He's just there because he's Jev. And I don't know the full details of why everybody is left, but from what I've heard, it was like a contract thing where they wanted them to sign over like a certain percentage of all their earnings. So everyone's like, no, we're not doing that, and dipped out. And basically the only person left standing is Banks. So I have no idea what the hell they're doing over there. I don't know why they try to turn it into a big business thing when I don't think a single like actual esports like group has really stayed afloat or been profitable ever. Like, it's just not very sustainable to have a group like that and turn it into like a big company. Like, they try to turn it into like a thing that was on the stock market, for God's sakes. I think the only like group kind of like that. Oh, nice. Awesome. But the only group that has kind of successfully done something like that is like 100 Thieves, where they've turned kind of just like a gaming org into like a brand where they just like sell. They're basically like a clothing brand with like streamers and everything affiliated with it at this point. But seeing it all get to the point where Jev is removing the Faze from his name is nuts. It's the end of an era for Faze as a whole. And I've never really been too plugged into like Faze or anything like that. Like, I've seen montages and stuff like back in the day. I'd watch the sniping montages or whatever. I've never really followed like any of that too closely. The only thing like esports related that I actually followed for a bit was like Counter-Strike back in like 2016 or something like that, where I was a big Team Liquid fan, but that only lasted like a year. So I'm not the most up-to-date, not the most knowledgeable on all things you know, gaming org, but it's just wild to see it go from like one of the most well-known gaming organizations out there, you know, kind of synonymous with like competitive Call of Duty and all that, to basically not there. And I'm sure all the members of Faze are going to be fine. Like, they're all doing their own thing. They're all huge in their own right. It was just kind of like a, you know, just a little boost added to them. And they'll probably end up, I don't think that they're going to go and make like, you know, Phase 2 or whatever, but you know, they'll still be like doing shit with each other. Like, I doubt they'd all just cease communication with each other now that their contracts are like, they're out of them. But you never know. But outside of that news, the COD news has been kind of light here. We are getting kind of close to 115 day, so I'm sure we're going to start seeing some teasers and whatnot for the next Zombies map, or whatever new is coming into Zombies. And the devs are going to be getting off their holiday break very soon here. So we're going to start seeing some like Season 1 Reloaded stuff coming, I'm sure, at some point soon. But it's been a very quiet holiday for COD in terms of like drama going on besides the whole Faze thing. Oh, headshots are done. Okay, time to take all the attachments off our gun. And can I even get long shots on this map? Is there a long shot angle besides like down the middle? Maybe from right here if somebody's far enough back. Well, that's a tough angle. I basically have to sit in that one spot where they know I'm going to peek from. Oh, and I just remember what the other special challenge is. It's kills without reloading. We can do that, especially if we get these no attachment kills done soon here. We actually might be able to get a long shot here if people peek. Or maybe from here. Yes, sir. That's got to be right. That's still not a long shot? Well, we might need to switch modes up here or try to get that one angle on Nuketown. But Dragon Ball update, I'm almost done with Super. I am a good chunk of the way through the Tournament of Power like I mentioned before. But I watched, I can't remember the name of the movie prior to Super, but basically like Beerus's introduction in, you know, Goku fighting him, but then like becoming cool with him or whatever. And the whole way the Tournament of Power like starts is hilarious. Because Goku's like, oh man, I want to do that fighting tournament that the Zennies were talking about. And then Beerus is like, don't even talk to him, bro. You leave those maniacs alone. And Goku's like, no, I want to fight someone. And then he pulls out the little device that the Zennies gave him to be able to teleport to him or whatever. And then Beerus is like, don't you do it. And he like fakes, throws it in the air. And he goes, ha, gotcha. And then he hits the button just to go put the whole universe at risk so he can go fight someone. Goku got no brain cells. Also, I want to say before we get too far into the Dragon Ball talk, if you guys want to see me do a specific weapon or challenge, let me know down below. Top comment will be the next thing that we do in the next video, as long as it's reasonable. But back to the Dragon Ball talk. The Tournament of Power has been absolutely sick so far. Like, there's been a bunch of like sweet moments of like, you know, crazy fights. They had, they went and got like Frieza to go fight in the tournament. There was a part in there where like Goku's getting his shit rocked. And then he gets to a point where he gets teleported over by like Frieza. And Frieza's like, this is a part. Or what's a Frieza voice? Ah, I ain't gonna do that. But he's like, I know they can't see me in here. And he's acting like he's about to like kill Goku just because he's like, haha, I'm gonna be evil. But then he pulls like the most baller move and is like, oh, here's some of my energy. Go get him, Tiger. Like he actually does something sweet besides calling all the Saiyan slurs. You know, actually helps them out for a bit. And it actually kind of had me fooled. I thought he was going to try to kill him there and then someone would have to intervene. But like the whole team for, what is it, Universe 7? Not Universe 6, but like Goku's universe is like 7 or something like that. And the whole team they have is hard as fuck. I'm glad they finally got Gohan out of school. You know, they had him hitting the books for too long. They had his ass wearing a cashmere sweater in some fake classes because I know he don't need prescriptions. And they even got Master Roshi's old ass to go out there and fight. But he needs to not be out there fighting. He needs to be in prison or dead because that guy is a fucking... He's a criminal. He is a predator. With my buddies I've been watching Dragon Ball with, one of them started watching like the original Dragon Ball. And apparently there's a moment in there where like Master Roshi sees like Bulma's downstairs Homer Simpson mouth. And he gets so flustered by it that he gets a fucking nosebleed. So I'm saying that Master Roshi, he's had his time in the sun. You know, he trains some pretty good fighters, but they need to kill him. The Kame house might as well just be on Epstein Island because Roshi is a predator. I cannot believe the kind of shit that Roshi does, and they've toned him down in Super from everything that I've heard. But I'm not here to list out all of Roshi's crimes. You know, those have all been redacted anyways. But for the Tournament of Power, there was like some sweet scenes of basically their like alternate universe selves where they're fighting the other Saiyans from like Hit's universe. Also, that it was nuts that Goku called a hit in on himself from the hitman named Hit, another insane naming, the same way to name a character again. Go off. But Goku called a hit in on himself because he knew the guy wouldn't bring his all and tried to rematch him. Unless he did that. And then turns out he's there at the Tournament of Power with basically like Vegeta's like protege or whatever. The dude that looks like Hero from Smash. And then the other two Saiyans there. And their fights were pretty sick. You know, it all just basically came down to like Goku's like, I'm not trying my hardest yet. Oh, I'm only getting stronger from this. And then later on, it's like Goku fighting Jiren. And then he gets to the point where he's like, all right, that's it. I'm nuking it. I am nuking myself right here and now. And everyone thinks that he's blown himself up and like there's a giant crater there. And they actually bring it up to the booth with the whatever like Supreme Kai is there that's babysitting the Zennies. And they bring it up to the booth because you're not supposed to kill in the Tournament of Power. If you kill, you'll be disqualified. And they're like, should Jiren be disqualified because Goku just blew himself up? And they're like, no, because he blew himself up. That means Jiren didn't do it. So Jiren stays. He's still qualified to fight. And then like the smoke clears and Goku's there. We're like, oh shit. And then like probably one of the sweetest sequences in the show so far is him just going like autonomous ultra instinct. Bro starts glowing and the Zenny's like, wow, look Look at him glow. But then he's like still figuring out Ultra Instinct. And he's like, holy shit, I can just dodge everything. And it gets to the point where I'm definitely butchering his name, but Paul the Alien, the guy that is stronger than basically everyone, everything. He's the new, the big bad, the big threat. But he has to call off his goons. He goes, nah, me and Goku, it's our time. And they brawl it out for a bit. And then it gets to the point where, Goku's got to go fucking rest or whatever. And then Vegeta's like, Kakarot, how the fuck did you do that? I know we're over here fighting for our life or whatever, but how did you do that? You need to tell me now. But also, it's just sick when those two were fighting that everybody else, when they're in this giant battle royale for their entire universe's lives, they all just stop and watch. They're like, this shit is hard. I don't care if our whole universe is at stake here. I'm watching this. And then Vegeta's getting pissed that Goku's surpassing him again in strength. He's like, oh, Kakarot, I'll take him on or whatever. And he starts fighting Urine. I said Urine. What is his name? Why am I blanking on the strongest character ever's name? Or at least to this point. Jiren. That's his name. But Vegeta actually gets some good hits in on Jiren and is doing something. And he's like, come on, you're not even fighting me at the same strength you're fighting Kakarot at. And then fucking Paul the Alien's like, okay. And starts beating the living shit out of Vegeta in pure Vegeta fashion. He's like, is that all you got? After he gets punched into the earth. But it's always just so funny how, like, Vegeta's just like, I ain't hear no bell. When he's getting his shit rocked. He asked him to go harder and actually use his full strength. And he does and just keeps throwing him into the dirt. And he's laying there half dead, face down into the crater that just spawned from him getting punched into the earth. And he's like, I ain't done yet. But honestly, that's kind of how I play COD, is how Vegeta tries to fight. Because I go negative in 90% of my games, but I ain't hear no bell. I'm still out here fighting. Everyone likes to think they're Goku, but Goku dropped a literal nuke. I ain't never dropped a nuke in my life. I'm constantly getting clapped. I ain't gonna run away. I ain't gonna hide. I might leave the game. That's just because I'm lagging and they're hacking, obviously. Oh, our no attachment kills are done. Now we just need to rack up these long shots. Doing it the Cold War way. Looking right down this alleyway. And we are not getting enough damage, dude. What? He's T-posed there for a second. Okay, alright. You're lucky I didn't have any attachments on there. But this is the kind of game we want if we're constantly getting people peeking us from that angle. We need to get these headshots done, or these long shots done now. I still got a little bit of the tournament of power to go, and then I'll be done with Super. And then I don't know what's next after that, but I have enjoyed my time with Dragon Ball so far. Going from never watching it before in my life to liking it a lot is pretty sweet. Like before, people would just say like Invincible's like white boy Dragon Ball, and I completely agree. Because I love Invincible, and it's basically the same thing. It's just dudes fighting and get the shit beat out of them, but then they get stronger. Oh, that's bullshit. Why am I hitting these guys down to 1 health? Do I even need to get long shots here? Did I make that up? No, I do need long shots. We need like 9 more. That's a level up. Am I done with long shots? Oh, thank God. Woo! That 15 long shots felt like it took forever. How many did we have to do in MW2? Was it 100? We had to play in realism mode? God, it don't matter how many kills you need for a camo. It'll take me forever to do it. What we gotta do now? Oh, 3 kills without dying. Easy. But I guess now it's time for everybody's favorite segment. The Gamer Guy Does Sports Talk part of our multiplayer videos, where I talk about all things sports. And by all things sports, I mean mainly just the Detroit Lions. And not been looking good for my Lions, my Leos, recently. Our most recent game on Christmas was against the Vikings, and we kind of got stomped. Not gonna lie. Definitely a game that we had to win to stay in playoff contention, and we lost. Same with our game against the Steelers, where we had to win that game, but we were still going to be in contention, kinda. And we got absolutely smoked. We finally had a game where our defense played decently, because everyone's going to be like, oh, Max Brosmer, only 3 net pass yards and still beat you. Well, we have a Make-A-Wish offensive line. We got them from Salvation Army. It's literally like string and duct tape and gum holding up everything next to Panay Sewell. Like, we have 1 all-pro right tackle, and then the rest of the line is like rookies. And then we have like Taylor Decker and Graham Glasgow, which Graham Glasgow had to switch to center all of a sudden at the start of the year. That transition was not going as well. Like, he was still decent, but like, you know, he's more of a guard. And then with Taylor Decker, he's just been dealing with injuries, and now he is kind of, from what I've been hearing, contemplating retirement because of all the injuries. And our entire interior offensive line has just been absolutely wrecked. We had basically all rookies starting at like center and both guards. We had like Mahogany, Ratledge, and I don't even know how to pronounce dude's name. Let's start with the E, but he started at center for us the last 2 games. Like he was on our practice squad. We never activated him to the active roster unless it was on game day. And he got poached off our practice squad to go over to Cleveland. So the guy that we had starting at center for us the last 2 weeks is gone. And going into our last game of the season against the Bears, we have, I don't know if we have a single starting offensive lineman from any point in the week or in the year starting this week, besides maybe Ratledge. But from the looks of it, like Mahogany's going to be out. Penny Sewell's going to be out. Decker is questionable, so probably going to be out. And I'm pretty sure Glasgow's out. So we have a bunch of brand new faces starting in our offensive line going against the Bears. And everybody wanted to blame that Vikings game on Goff. And he didn't play the greatest game ever. But also, I don't know how you watch that game and you see from the second the ball is snapped, every defensive lineman in his face immediately and go, yeah, Goff's kind of sucks. It's like seeing a plane in like Battlefield or something get shot down by like 80 lock-on missiles and you blame the pilot for not evading them all. Like, I don't care who you got as quarterback back there, unless they're like Lamar Jackson or like Josh Allen, who are gonna be fast enough or like big enough to either just take those hits or avoid those hits. Nobody is gonna have a good performance behind that line. And that's basically how it's been like the whole year, where our offensive line has just been in shambles and we've been playing and mixing and matching a bunch of people all around. We did not address a line well enough in the off season, and we're definitely paying for it because even like Gibbs and Montgomery aren't getting going. And then if our run game's not getting going and then our quarterback's getting smacked in the mouth every play, offense is not gonna look too hot. And despite all that, people are still gonna be like, oh, I bet you miss Ben Johnson, huh? No, bitch. I mean, yes, but no. Like, yeah, sure, it'd be nice to still have him, but I don't know what Ben Johnson's going to do for what we have currently at offensive line, unless he's going to go out there and block himself. And what it really all comes down to in, like, who we can blame for this awful performance is 2 people. Bill Belichick and Tua Tagovailoa. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but just hear me out here. So, back in Miami, they used to have a head coach there who did not quite like Tua Tagovailoa, and would just tell him to his face all the time that he sucked and he hates him and, you know, all these amazing things. And he ends up getting fired from that job after like a whole thing coming out about like the ownership or whatever of the Dolphins wanting to tank and them trying to get Tom Brady or whatever. Move past all that. This coach goes and interviews for the Giants position. The Giants head coaching position that I had opened up that year. And the interview process is still going on and everything. I actually don't think he interviewed yet for the job, but he did get a text message from Bill Belichick saying, congrats on the job, Brian. Congrats on getting the Giants job, Brian. Turns out, Bill Belichick texted the wrong Brian. He meant to text Brian Dable and ended up texting Brian Flores, leading to him suing the NFL and everything and teams passing on him for their head coaching job, making him the most overqualified defensive coordinator in the NFL that just so happened to land with the Minnesota Vikings. So this guy's already an insane defensive coordinator. He is a division opponent, so he knows what we'd like to do on offense in and out. He knows our strengths, he knows our weaknesses, and he knows that our O-line is absolutely trash. So he's running all kinds of stunts. He's running all kinds of crazy like blitz concepts, showing different things at the line, where our rookie center, who's starting his second game ever, is trying to get calls from Goff for the protection. We have like 2 different guards every single week, so they don't know the fucking protection. And we're just getting absolutely blasted by Brian Flores playing mind games on our offensive linemen who were just in high school 3 years ago. So thanks to Tua and Bill Belichick, I had to go on defense for Goff, because I don't know what it is. I think people just don't like changing their opinion on things. Where after that, Rams Patriots Super Bowl, which coincidentally was against Brian Flores leading the Patriots defense. He was their defensive coordinator back then. But ever since that Super Bowl, everyone thinks, oh, Goff he sucks. He's terrible. When he's been consistently like top 3 in passing stats the last 3-4 years. And all I'm saying is the game against the Bears probably ain't going to be very pretty with what we're rolling out at O-line, considering basically every single one of our linemen are going to be out. And honestly, I think it's malpractice if you put Goff back there to try to quarterback this last game out if we were having literally like 3rd and 4th stringers starting on the offensive line. Just, you know, shut them down for the last game of the season. Like, yeah, we're going into Chicago, going against our former coordinator who is now coaching a rival team in our division. It would be nice to get a win on them and, you know, end the season on a high note, but we also don't want to end the season with our quarterback getting blasted behind this paper mache offensive line that is just I won't even put anyone behind that line. You're gonna get them killed. And then everyone's like, oh, the Lions are gonna be in cap trouble next year. Goff's got a lot of money on his contract. I am almost positive he'll restructure and they're gonna move money around. The cap is usually never an issue in the NFL from what I've come to learn. The cap is not real, and unless you have like a terrible like financier or whatever at GM that cannot move money around, because it just seems like they sign gigantic contracts and they kick the can down the road constantly. Like the Saints have done that for years and years and years. Every single team has ways to do cap magic and get their way out of whatever, and everyone knows like all these contracts are all backloaded with like all the money in like the later years of the contract, and then they just like convert that into like signing bonuses or performance bonuses or whatever. So we'll be fine when it comes to cap room, hopefully. And we'll be able to actually sign and or draft some needs at the offensive line. And then actually maybe get some help in the secondary, because with like both our safeties going down and our #1 corner going down and our corner that we drafted a few years ago having a second like season-ending injury, maybe we should look at the training staff. Like, I'm not calling for nobody's job or nothing, because that's what people love to do the second like stuff does not go their way. But all I'm saying is we've been the most injured team in the league, like back-to-back years. Somebody needs to like put some Dr. Souls in their shoes or something. Whatever we're doing now, do the opposite. We got too many injuries. But one of like the big conversations going down now is like who's going to win MVP. And obviously, you know, MVP is going to be the quarterback award until they just decide to make a quarterback award, because there's no way any other player is ever going to win MVP unless they have an insane season. And even then, there's going to be a chance that a quarterback has like a slightly above average year and wins it. But it's coming down to Matthew Stafford and Drake May. And for the longest time, it was looking like that was Stafford's award to lose. And I'd be happy if Stafford won it, because he has had some amazing years in the NFL that were not recognized for the longest time. And then the one year where he had like an absolutely like insane year where he threw for over like 5,000 yards and however many touchdowns was the same year that everybody decided to go off, where we had like Drew Brees go crazy and then we had like Aaron Rodgers go crazy, and I think he ended up winning the MVP. Like, it was just, there's just one year, it might have been like 2013, 2014, something like that, but it was just a year where every single quarterback decided to pop off at the same time, so Stafford wasn't getting it then. I felt like for most of the season he deserved it going into, you know, this year. And then there's that game against the Seahawks where they ended up blowing that game, and then they lost the game against the Falcons too, and they went from, you know, the #1 seed winning their division, going into the playoffs with a bye week to they're going to be 3rd in their division and are going to have to play away for every game in the playoffs, which is nuts. The NFC is a shit show, and the NFC West specifically is just a gauntlet. If we're looking at just numbers, I think Stafford should have it. He's got like 42 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, like how many yards? Like 4,500 yards, or at least something close to like 4,500 yards. And then that's going against like 4,300 yards, 33 touchdowns, and like 7 interceptions for his other MVP candidate. Oh wait, no, that's actually Jared Goff. Oops, didn't mean to slide that on in there. With Drake May, his stats are looking like, you know, 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. And he's got the better record. They got like or at least they're fighting for the #1 seed. I don't know if they have it locked down or not in the AFC. It's between them and like the Broncos, I'm pretty sure. But I feel like if like just looking at the numbers, it's obvious Stafford's had the better year, in golf has even had the better year than Drake May, but everyone wants to say that he's ass. All right, I'll leave golf out of it now. I just wanted to point out that he's got pretty high passing numbers, but people want to say he sucks. But with what Drake May's been able to do in like, was this his second year in the league, is kind of crazy. Like I do respect the hell out of that. And I do think he's been playing great. But I always feel like MVP, if it's not coming down to numbers, it's coming down to vibes. With Stafford not having an MVP yet, everyone goes like, oh, well, what about the newest, youngest, hottest quarterback that has been playing decently well? We'll give it to them. Because if we're just going off numbers, I feel like, what was it, last year, like 2 years ago, Lamar should have won MVP over Josh Allen. I think it was last year, where Lamar had like 44 touchdowns and like 5 interceptions or something like that on top of all of his rushing numbers. But they're like, they gave it to Josh Allen instead because they just gave Lamar the MVP the year before. I don't know. Once you start looking too deep into these like MVP votings and these, you know, all pro votings, it's all just comes down to like a bunch of journalists, not like an actual like committee of, you know, ball knowers or whatever. Like the league doesn't vote on it or nothing. Like it's literally like the AP All Pro, the like just some like newspaper or whatever that's become like the signifier of like we choose what players are goated this year. But with Stafford losing like 2 or 3 out of his last 4 games and them falling in the seeding like that, I feel like that cost him the MVP, even though it has not even really been on him. And since my Lions have been eliminated from playoff contention, I'm gonna go ahead and strap my wagon onto a team for the playoffs, you know, the team that I'll be rooting for. And just so I'm getting it out there ahead of time, I'm gonna be rooting for the Denver Broncos, not only for Donuts to cheer on his team, but also for Brandon Perna of That's Good Sports. I feel like the Broncos have been in a rut ever since 2015, ever since Manning left, and it's crazy to call like a rut after, you know, going to the Super Bowl like a few years in a row, having like the greatest passing season ever or whatever, and then just not doing a whole lot in 10 years. A rut, I guess it kind of is, but not any kind of success my team has seen. But I'm making it official. My team for the playoffs. I'm switching conferences, going to the AFC, and I'll be rooting for the Broncos to make it all the way to the end. So I also feel like their quarterback, Bo Nix, doesn't really get a whole lot of recognition for what he does. Like, he's not like an insane quarterback or nothing, but he's been doing great for what he's been given and how he's adjusted and grown throughout his career so far. And I commend him for it, because people want to give up on quarterbacks way too soon nowadays. Like, if you're not balling out your first year or two, then you're dead to them. There's no more growing as a player and being patient with younger talent. It's you perform now or you are going to go sell insurance. And I think I've been yapping a little too much. We got to lock in and get this gold done on our Ion. Oh, let's go. Finally. All right. One more sniper. Oh, which one was it though? The recon? Oh, of course, it's not even going to tell me what gun it is. It just says what the challenge is. Or we got to just put on a scope on this and see if it'll start counting. So we need a 4 times or higher. Let's use this. So we're at 39 now. Yup, we're at 40. Okay, so this is the gun. What? There we go. Okay, our scope challenges are done. I'm pretty sure now we just need to get the 3 kills without dying. Me and this Carver are having a miss a shot off. The hit a shot challenge, 2-player edition. Oh, look at that. I got the horny medal. Oh, there's gold. Let's go. Now we need double kills for this and the rest of our snipers. Double kills should not be as hard as getting the 3 kills without dying. But let's not speak too soon. There we go. Keep it going. Damn. One more. Oh, that's arclight, right? Yes, sir. Whatever, let's keep the streak going. Never mind, it's over. Next sniper. We're gonna leave the Shadow SK for last because I feel like that one's gonna be more fun to do than this. It shouldn't be too terrible. As long as we're not getting like hit markers, we should be all right. There we go. Some quality spawn kills. Beautiful. Ah. We're grooving. No, had to reload. There's still time for a multi-kill. No, there's not. Is that it? Yes, sir. One more sniper to go. Time to shine, Shadow SK. And another one. Nothing but doubles. Oof. Oh, we got arclight. I did not think that was a double. I was getting sandwiched in spawns. They gave me like a revenge spawn, and then they gave the other guy a revenge spawn too. Whoa, in the menu here, arclight looks so much better than it does in game. Like there's so much more of the holographic. Maybe I just haven't used it in a bit. Has it been updated? Oh, looks like it's got a little bit more movement now. Kind of looks clean. And I do see a little bit more of the color there. Okay. I think arclight would be a much better camo if it did show that holographic a little bit more. But also, I like that it's all silver because if I do want to have a nice like blueprint with it or something, then I would prefer the color stay the same. Like not every camo needs to be like super crazy animated and everything. Like it doesn't need to be something like this. But it's cool that the camo does stay on there for the Mastercraft animation. And it kind of looks sweet with this. Looks nice and shiny. Ooh, and the ion actually looks so nice with this. It's like the future episode of SpongeBob where everything's chrome. This is definitely the most futuristic looking sniper in the whole game. And it really looks clean with arclight. Maybe I'm just sleeping on this camo because this is not too bad. Ooh. Very shiny. This is actually cold as hell. No pun intended. So now that we got the snipers done, we are 7 out of 30 weapons arclight that we need for Tempest. And basically, I have a lot of shattered gold sitting here. We might just have to do a video where we're racking up the arclight for the gold that we already have. But SMGs are wide open, basically. Same with LMGs. Marksmans are not even been touched, really. Pistols haven't been touched. But launchers are done. I could probably get the Ravager done. Melees, I feel like, are going to be tough. The time to kill is so fast in this game that melee weapons are just so hard to use. I think that's a nice spot to wrap it up for today. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate your love and support, and I will see you in the next one. Later.